Okay, guys, let's go back to discussing the differences between Democrats and Republicans on this issue. So, along the same lines, Michael, what do you think it is about Democratic political ideology or the way that Democrats look at the world in America today that enables them to want to have a conversation about race after this? What do you think makes them so different in their thinking and views compared to Republicans?
I think that we have to have a conversation about race because there's this view that seems to be sweeping over the Republican Party that racism is dead. We elected an African American president. It's gone. We don't have to worry about it anymore. But it's not. I would almost go so far as saying that the Republican Party has institutionalized racism from the top all the way to the bottom. So it's hard to say that that African Americans in places like Ferguson, where shootings like this has happened, where that they shouldn't get ticked off about it because there's no accountability. There's none. So
as a Democrat, why do you think that race did play a role in this event?
Well, in this particular event, it's as Carlos said earlier, it's kind of hard to say whether or not in the actual shooting, if race had something to do with it. What the protest afterwards and what happened afterwards, that definitely had race.
Or why don't we just talk about the St. Louis County overall? Do you think race plays a role in the county and how laws are enforced there, particularly in regards to the police and the criminal justice system?
If it's anything to do with like Arizona, then yeah. and that St. Louis does have I would say a higher crime rate and a higher population of African Americans. So, I mean, if it has any similarities to Arizona, then yes, race does play an issue, and we can look at things like SB 1070, where race plays a huge. And Andrew Thomas, in his run for gubernatorial nomination, we see this Mexican flag in his ad with a huge circle and cross through it. Like, obviously, race is playing an issue, is a huge issue, and on all levels of the government right now. And because of that, I think me, and along with many other Democrats, and I don't even think it's Democrats, I think independents, even some Republicans would say the same thing, it's time to have a civil discussion about race in America and figure out how we can come together as one and have everybody's voice heard so people don't feel oppressed.
But I completely agree with that.
We need to have that conversation.
We're talking about one incident, and that was the Michael Brown shooting. And already we have gotten off the topic because we're not talking about it anymore. We're talking about laws that lead to minorities being arrested more often. We can talk about the drug war, we can talk about police militarization. There are laws because of this drug war that the big government is trying to push, that there are laws that target minorities disproportionately from white Americans, and we can talk about those. But this is a horrible example because it has nothing to do with the Michael Brown case.
You think that most Republicans think it's a conversation worth having, but not due to this event?
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
I think we see a perfect example of how Democrats use isolated tragedies to win political points and not talk about real issues.